Good morning and welcome back to Conversations at the Corner. Today is Wednesday, October the 29th, the last Wednesday of the wonderful month of October, episode 43. Pastor Nathan, how are you today?
I'm doing all right.
Great. Hey, before we begin, this is the last Wednesday of October, and we've kind of been in this theme that we'll jump back into in a minute, but it has been Pastor Appreciation Month. So I want to take just a moment and thank each and every one of you that has lovingly given toward us, toward me, toward Pastor Nathan, our staff, throughout the month, different expressions of tangible ways that you guys have loved on us. So we appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
And we just wanted to take just a quick moment and say thank you to you for the way that you have appreciated and loved on us during this month. So thank you very much for that. Pastor Nathan, this is the last question of the month. They've all been fall themed, and so we're gonna stay within that for this month.
Okay.
We are now in our 40s, and so we don't dress up for Halloween. Well, at least I would assume you don't dress up for Halloween. I don't. I kind of assume that you don't. Maybe you do.
Olivia bought me a costume this year.
Oh, well.
A matching costume.
Wait, do you want to tell us what it is or no? Please say it's Peter Pan and Wendy.
No, it's not that.
Okay.
I'm going to save it because this is going to be going out, I think, on the 29th of October, right? So we still got a couple of days until Halloween. So I'll let you just be surprised. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Let me ask you this. So this kind of falls in line with that.
Okay.
But if you were going to dress up for Halloween, and now this is not Olivia's pick. This is your pick.
Okay, my pick.
Who would you dress up as?
Oh.
I actually haven't given this any thought, so I'll have to think about this while you answer.
Who would I dress up as?
Yeah.
One of my favorite costumes as a kid, I think this is one of the last costumes that I did. I might have even been in middle school.
Until this year.
I dressed up as a giant green M&M.
Oh, okay.
That was fun.
Green's your favorite color.
Yeah. Boy, who? I don't know.
Who or what? I mean, if you want to do what,
yeah.
that's fine.
You know what I really like? There's new costumes that I see around where it's like, I don't know how they do it, but they create a costume that it makes it like there's fake legs on it. Uh-huh. And like I saw one on Facebook the other day where the kid was dressed up and it looked like he was sitting on a toilet, like in a bathroom. And there's like a little roll of toilet paper and all this stuff like that. But he's actually walking around. He's just got the fake legs on the front.
Yeah.
So those kind of costumes are really funny to me.
Okay.
I like that type of stuff.
Does that go back to your dark sense of humor you were talking about a couple episodes ago?
That's not really dark.
Okay.
It's just more like silly. I think there's just something fun about the visual deception. You know, that's fun to me. There was that period of time where those T-Rex costumes were really popular. Did you ever see, there were like Facebook videos of like the person in a T-Rex costume walking down the street, you know, like those were fun. Okay. Maybe that would be fun. I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't really thought about this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just totally wrong.
What about you? Who do you want to be?
Well, I haven't, I made the question. Usually I kind of know what I'm going to say. I didn't really think about this one at all.
Okay.
So that was not good on my part. I would say probably something super easy. Like I would just throw in a suit and be like, I'm a politician or I'm a preacher.
Yeah.
Just something super easy like that.
A football jersey.
Yeah. My dad got me a Jahmyr Gibbs jersey a couple months ago. I could throw on that and be Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that. But I guess I've never done this, and I don't want to do this, but I do think there would be a cool element, like if we did like a family outfit.
Okay, yeah.
Like I think several years ago, I think my sister and her family, like a trunk or treat at church, they dressed up like Peter Pan, I think.
Okay.
I think my brother-in-law was Captain Hook. My sister was Wendy. My nephew was Peter Pan.
They went all out. Okay.
Yeah. And like I think that might have been even before my niece was born. I can't remember. But she might have been Tinkerbell or something, my niece. I can't remember. But I think, they kind of had this family theme.
Yeah, right.
So I guess if we were going to do something like that, I would say, well, let's do some kind of a family theme and have something.
So it's interesting. This year, you guys will probably see. Well, I don't know. I guess we might post a picture on Facebook or something like that. But Olivia got these costumes that are matching for her and I.
Okay.
And then Wallace and Graham, when they picked out a costume, they both picked out the exact same thing. So, but it's not at all related to what me and Olivia.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to look really weird.
Okay.
Anyway, I guess I'm building this up, and then you're going to see the picture on Facebook and be like, "Oh, okay, that's."
I'm kind of hoping it's like you and her, like ketchup and mustard, and like they're like salt and pepper shakers, or just something.
It's a little more random than that.
Okay.
But okay.
All right.
Yeah.
But it's kind of okay. Something kind of random. All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing that here in just a couple of days. We've been in this really cool theme throughout the month.
Yep.
Of what do pastors do, and we tied that to Pastor Appreciation Month. And there's kind of the joke that pastors only work one day a week for a couple hours, and hopefully you guys don't really think that. It's kind of what you see maybe, but we are here 40 plus hours a week and do all kinds of different things, most of which is below the surface of the iceberg. You just kind of see the top part of the iceberg, and you don't see all the stuff underneath. Yeah. So we got one more week, Pastor Nathan, and we've gone through the gamut of preaching and divisions of ministry and church politics and public facing job. We even talked last week about what we do in the office.
Yep.
So what are we going to do to round out this week?
Okay, so today we're going to talk about. So whenever we talk about a pastor, one of the things that we say is a pastor shepherds people. So the idea of shepherding is that we're guiding people. A shepherd leads sheep to a pasture or to a river or a safe place or whatever. So that's part of our job is to shepherd and guide. And one of the things that a pastor does in relation to that is they give counseling. Now there's different kind of levels to this. Let's just start with kind of maybe the most obvious. So pastors marry people.
Yep.
And so I know your requirement, if somebody comes and they say, I want you to marry me, you require that they have like a little mini marriage counselor, premarital counseling session. And I believe it's 3 or 4 weeks or something like that.
6.
6. Oh, a little longer than I thought. Okay. So they have to do that. And so that's something.
If I'm going to do their wedding.
If you're going to do their wedding. Now, not every pastor has that exact system, but so let's talk a little bit about the counseling element of pastoral work. So how did you come up with your system for marital counseling, and how did you learn to be a marriage counselor?
So when you say marriage counseling, you're talking premarital counseling, right?
Yeah, let's stick with that just for the moment.
All right. So I remember the first couple that I think it was the first couple that I did premarital counseling for. They went to a different church, and their friend was going to do the wedding, but he didn't know how to do any counseling, so he and I actually split it. I think I did so many sessions, and I gave him a couple of assignments, and he prepped and did that with them. I think that was my first one.
Okay.
Real nice couple. I hope they're still married today. I didn't meet with them other than our counseling sessions, and so I don't remember how I did that, but I kind of go through this list of the things that I think are important for
different topics.
Yeah, before they get married. But what I tell them is our 6 sessions that are roughly an hour and a half apiece, it's not going to totally prepare you for what you need. Hopefully these are discussions and tools that you can look back on and use them later on.
Yeah.
Because we're not preparing for the wedding, we're preparing for the marriage. There's a huge difference, yeah.
And I would think with marriage counseling, let's say you take a subject like finances.
Which is one of them.
That's going to be one of them. I think the idea would be that it's sort of like a launching pad. It's getting the couple to start thinking about that subject and maybe opening up a conversation that they need to have, because they should go home. They should go home and they should be like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. Or what are we going to do about this?
So very quickly, I'll go through this. I always start with the requirement of the book Love and Respect.
Right. Okay.
Based on Ephesians 5. We actually have talked about that in a podcast before. So what I tell them is, you can buy 1 book, you can buy 2, I don't care. You can get it on CD and listen to it from the library. I don't care. I just want you to go through it. My encouragement is get 1 book and use like a blue highlighter and a pink one, or 2 different colors, and have her highlight what she thinks is important in one, have him highlight what he thinks is important in the other. And it will be cool to see the difference in what they think is important and where they overlap.
Yeah.
So read, discuss after each chapter, and then we discuss it in our premarital counseling too. And then I think it's 6 sessions. I start with just kind of an intro, and it's kind of on love and respect. And then we go into communication, we go into finances, we go into family and boundaries, where we talk about kind of extended family.
Oh, okay.
And just regular boundaries. We talk about, I think I already said finances. We talk about sex. We talked about parenting. And then we talk about the spiritual life of the family. That's the last one.
Okay.
Which is the most important. So I save it for last.
Now, for premarital counseling, do you have any training, or how would you decide that, or how does that work? Do you have training to be a marital counselor or anything?
I don't.
Yep. Okay.
There are some that they may go through and get some kind of training or certificate or something on that. I had a class in college about it's called Pastoral Care and Counseling, but I don't remember what we did in it.
Now, the reason I bring that up is because most people, I don't know what people know and don't know, but most pastors do not have a certificate or a specific training or a degree in psychology or counseling. Some pastors, maybe they minored in counseling. That's a possibility.
Probably should. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. But when they went to college, but not everybody. And so when you receive counseling from a pastor, it's not the same as going to a professional therapist or anything like that.
Yeah. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Do you have something you want to say?
Yeah. Well, let me add one other thing to premarital counseling.
Okay, great.
So again, if I'm going to do your wedding, you're going to do premarital counseling with somebody. Doesn't have to be me, but if I'm going to do the wedding, I kind of want to walk you through this stuff. But if it was going to be somebody else, like if Brady got married and he said, "Dad, I want you to do my wedding, but I don't really want you to do my counseling."
Understandable.
I'm going to say Pastor Nathan do my counseling.
Probably
no problem.
Yeah.
I went to Pastor Mo to do my premarital counseling, but Dad did my wedding. So just kind of that thing.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I have is that if you have been married before, so marriage is tough no matter what. But if you've been married before, I would really encourage you to not only meet with me, but to see a professional counselor as well.
Right, because that's a different ballgame.
It is. And, we all bring baggage into a marriage and a family. But if there's something significant, you got to deal with it before.
Right.
So that's my encouragement. It's not a requirement.
Right.
Here's my requirement, though. If one or both of you has children that you're bringing into this marriage, I will not do your wedding unless you not only meet with me, but you go see an approved Christian counselor as well, because that is a whole nother issue
more complex.
That's got to work through. So those are kind of the rules, guidelines that I have set aside. And that's just what I feel is important for me and works for me.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's shift gears then.
Okay.
So we've talked about premarital counseling.
Yep.
Premarital counseling is unique because it's kind of almost like a scheduled type of counseling that happens before a specific event.
Yep. You know what you're going to do too.
Yep.
Got kind of like an outline.
Most counseling, though, doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
Most people come to get some type of counseling because a situation has come up, and they want to deal with that situation, whether it's in a marriage, whether that's in their regular life, whether that's with their family, doesn't matter. So how do you handle counseling that is outside of that box?
Yeah. So, you get people that they'll send you an email or talk to you after church or call you and they want to come in. And I've had that quite a bit. And it ranges from marriage counseling to we're married and we're hanging by a thread and we've got to work through this, to just personal counseling.
Yep.
It could be something from the past that's reared its ugly head. It could be I've even had somebody come talk to me about struggling with like a dream that they had, like a nightmare.
Okay.
And kind of working through that. Had people talk to me about like spiritual oppression or spiritual warfare, hurts and loss and pain, stuff like that. So it really could be kind of anything. So I if possible, I kind of like to know what's coming at me so I could kind of prep.
Yeah.
But for me, it's really about listening, doing a lot of listening.
Yep.
Trying to see where they're coming from, how they're feeling, their perspective, and truly trying to connect with them and give them encouragement and hope, speaking truth to them, regardless whether they want to hear it or not. And in leaning on and into the truth of Scripture.
Yeah.
What does Scripture say about this situation? Like I had somebody come talk to me the other day not a bad thing, but it was just a college age student dealing with the call to ministry and kind of next steps.
Okay,
He
yeah.
wanted to hear from me about some things that I went through or whatever. So that was kind of an impromptu counseling session, but
Right.
it wasn't this marriage is hanging by a thread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so maybe thinking about that, one of the things that pastors should do, and one of the things that congregants should realize is that because we're not trained,
Yeah. Licensed.
licensed or anything like that, there is a limit to what we can do.
Yeah.
So I think part of what, when you're talking about, like if someone comes to you in a crisis, let's say a marital crisis,
Yep.
depending on that situation, you may be able to counsel them for a little bit, but part of your job or your role right there will actually be to discern, do I think this person needs more professional
Yeah.
help? And
100%.
if they do, then we have a responsibility to say, listen, I've helped you out to a certain degree. I've tried to kind of figure things out, but I'm at probably my personal limit for what I can actually do. So you need to go see a professional.
Yeah.
And that's something that pastors should be humble enough to know, like I've hit my limit. And congregants should be humble enough to realize, like, pastors can't necessarily do
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. One of the hats we wear is the hat of a counselor. But what I tell people is I'm happy to sit and talk to you 2 to 3 times. And if we can't figure this out in that 2 to 3 times, then I'm going to refer you to a professional Christian
Right.
counselor. And I have names and phone numbers of men and women in their offices and locations. And I say, would you rather see a man or a woman? What part of town do you live in?
Right.
Here, I got these options. I
Yeah.
trust these people.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like just like any other limitation, if let's say you met with somebody and you offhand thought, oh, I think they could really benefit from taking a certain kind of medication. Well, that's a super interesting thought.
But I can't prescribe it.
You can't prescribe it, and you're not,
Not
in a,
legally,
and you're not
anyway.
you're not in a position to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you had the thought, this person might benefit from some medication, that's where you would know. I probably hit my limit.
And I've told people that, like, hey, there's no shame in getting on some medication for a season to help you through this time.
Right.
However, I think you should go see a counselor and then go see a psychiatrist who can give you the medicine.
Right.
Most counselors can't prescribe
Yep,
medicine.
they're
but
not.
they can dig deep to the root of the issue, help
Yeah.
you with it, and refer you to a psychiatrist to get you on the. Or you can even get some medicine from your PCP too.
Right.
So they
Depending
can
what
they
you
can
need,
prescribe some of that too. Yep.
So let's shift gears
Yeah.
one other time. So we've talked about people who are kind of maybe in a life crisis
Mm-hmm.
and what our limitations are. Another thing that I think pastors offer, and again, this is going to be to greater and lesser degrees depending on the pastor and all that type of stuff. One thing that I love, one thing that I relish is theological counseling. So
Okay.
I love it when somebody comes into my office and they say, I've got these questions. What do you think about this? Now, sometimes it's a little stressful.
Yep.
Because I've had people come into my office and they've got like 20 questions, and I'm prepared for like 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so and they'll ask a question. We'll talk about it for a little bit, and then I'm thinking the conversation is kind of moving this direction a little bit, and then they'll stop and be like, "Well, what about this thing?" Okay, well,
Hard right turn.
right, hard right turn. But one of the things that I think pastors can do, and like you and I have been theologically trained. We've been, you were at Indiana Wesleyan. I went to Moody and to Kingswood. So part of our job and our role is to be able to answer spiritual questions or answer questions when people are thinking about theology and God and they're not sure what to think. Now, there might be a time where someone comes into my office and they ask me a question and I have to say, I don't really know. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah.
And maybe in that case, I would do one out of 2 things. I would either say to that person, you know what, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm willing to kind of look at it and I'm willing to think through it with you, and I'm willing to kind of try to tackle it with you. Or another option might be, hey, that's a subject that I don't really know a lot about, but I do know this person who does, and I'm going to send you over to them. So that's something that just as APB for everybody. If you have theological questions or things you want to talk about, I absolutely love it. Call me up, drop into the office. Let's do lunch. I don't care. That stuff is so fun for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's a unique thing that pastors can do because we have some of that training and responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I thought I'd bring that up.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else you want to add about counseling and pastoral care?
We talked a little bit about hospital visitations and home visits a week or so ago. So
Yeah.
that would kind of fall into that.
Yeah.
That's kind of the pastoral care.
And connected to that is kind of the idea of praying with people.
Yep.
So there's times in life where a person may just need to be prayed with.
Yeah.
Like when I've done a hospital visit, I'm chatting with them. I'm asking them some questions about their, condition or what's, the surgery or whatever they're doing. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to actually do those things. And the biggest thing that I can do is pray with them.
Right.
So,
yeah. Yep. I think your presence and your care and your prayer, I think, are the most important things in a situation like that. But we have counseling times that are really heavy and deep and hurtful, and then we have other times that are like they're counseling, but they're good and they're cool and they're fun and. There are not tears of sorrow, but maybe tears of relief or joy. Like the college kid who came to talk to me not long ago. I mean,
it's not a bad thing.
No, it was like it's counseling, but it's not. I'm struggling with this. It's more like I want to be obedient to God and follow Him.
Right.
How do I do that?
Maybe a way to think about that is there's the offer of guidance.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily I need to solve a problem for you or whatever. It's just you've got something you're trying to think about.
Life decision.
I can help you make a life decision.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's something that we do. And that's a heavy responsibility.
Yeah.
Because I could give you some bad advice.
Yep. Well, and I was a little bit relieved because this person told me, he said, do you remember last year you had lunch with me before I went back to college, and you said to me, if you're really dealing with a call to ministry, you need to leave that college and go to a Christian college that doesn't offer like a religion course, but a pastoral course. I said, yeah, I remember saying that. And he said to me, you were right. And he said, I couldn't do it at that time, but I knew you were right. And that's why I'm at where I'm at today.
Yeah.
So sometimes we tell people things and they don't listen in the moment, but they don't forget it.
Right.
And they act on it later on. So that, that's kind of an encouraging thing as well.
Yeah. So I'd like to make one last point about
Sure.
counseling and pastoral care, that we've touched on this a little bit when we talked about living a public life or a life that's kind of front-facing. But part of what pastors do is live a life that is exemplary. Now, that's a lot of weight. Most people don't want to feel like, I'm required to live an exemplary life. But when Paul talks about elders in 1 Timothy, or is it 2 Timothy? I'm boggled around for a moment. Anyway, when he talks about them, he wants them to live lives that are above reproach. He wants, he's like, I don't want somebody who's given to drunkenness. I don't want somebody who's doing this. I don't want somebody who's doing that. I want somebody who lives a life that can be followed by the people that are under them. Maybe not exactly, right? Not 110%. And not in superficial things like you live in a townhome. Well, if somebody doesn't want to live in a townhome, that's fine. You're living the character, right? Like I'm a faithful husband. I'm a loving father. I'm dedicated to Jesus. All that type of stuff. So part of counseling, almost, I do think, one thing that goes underrated is that people are watching our lives, and they can reflect them or model their own lives after ours. So when we go to somebody and we offer them a counseling on marriage, well, is my marriage good? That doesn't mean it has no problems, but am I in a position where I can counsel you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me give you an example of this. You might really appreciate this, okay? Everybody who's listening right now, you might not. We'll see. You know who Matt Millen is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I do.
Matt Millen, he was the GM?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. GM of the Detroit Lions during the early 2000s. Horrible. Oh, absolutely.
Worst stretch in franchise.
Maybe the worst GM ever.
Yeah.
A couple years after he left the franchise, I saw him on a Super Bowl.
Okay.
They had him as a Super Bowl commentator. and I wanted to throw whatever I was eating at the screen because I just thought, how in the world is this man giving any advice or analysis on football? This man is horrible. Now, bless his heart. God loves him, whatever.
Yeah.
But
and I think he's a believer from what I've heard. And he wasn't he a good NFL player?
Oh, maybe. I don't remember that. But that's the idea. If I'm going to take advice from you, I couldn't respect what he had to say. I don't even care if he was right. I just felt like, oh, man, come on, man. And so that's the same thing. If I'm going to give marriage advice, then my life and my marriage have to be something that somebody can look at and say, oh, okay, like he's got it at least a little bit, not perfect, but.
That's one of the things that I look at, right now, there's like this desire or need or whatever for consultants in church. Mm-hmm. But if you're a church consultant that has never pastored or led or grown anything, why would I listen to you? You have no idea where I'm coming from. You have no experience. You have no track record. And I see that. I see that a lot. Mm-hmm. And I really struggle with that. And it's kind of the same thing that you're talking about with this.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. And hopefully you guys who are listening, me and Pastor Matt are not perfect people by any stretch, but hopefully
not even close. Ask our wives.
You can ask Olivia; she'll tell you a thing or two. But hopefully, we are living lives that are good examples in the general, and that you can look at what we've done and see the fruit of what we've done and how we've lived, and that can help be a guide to you.
Yeah. And we're not perfect, and we make mistakes, and we do stupid things and say stupid things and have to apologize and all that, but. Yes, it is our desire to follow Jesus closely and live as much above reproach and with integrity as possible.
That's all I got here on pastoral care and counseling. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. I think that while preaching and teaching is kind of a once-a-week thing that people see and experience and hear, the pastoral care aspect, the shepherding, is ongoing.
Yeah.
And so does it look different on Sundays from another day? Yeah, because I have the primary responsibility of Sunday is to preach the word for me.
Right.
So I can't sit down and chat with you and get in depth and all of that on Sunday mornings, maybe like I can on Monday mornings.
Yeah.
But that shepherding pastoral care part is an ongoing process of who we are with the people really all the time.
And that gets back to what we talked about last week. Our office hours and pastoral work is sometimes random.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's
continuous.
Right. There's seasons where maybe somebody needs counseling for a little while and then they don't.
Yeah.
Right. And and then something comes up all of a sudden and you can't predict it or plan for it because if let's say a couple has a crisis in their marriage, well, I can't plan for that.
Yeah. And we don't think we talked about that last week, but we're talking about office time. That's another thing, counseling that at times, we have to do. So anything else on that?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. This has been a fun month,
yeah,
talking about this kind of stuff, and hopefully our listeners, we gave them an inside look into our lives and our office and responsibilities and ministries that they didn't know about. But every pastor is different. Every church is different. Every week and every day is different. But we did our best to kind of let you guys in on that. So hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us. Let me pray for you before we let you go. Lord Jesus, again, we thank you for this day. We thank you for our listeners. God, I pray that you would bless them, protect them, keep them safe today, help them to live for you. Lord, may they live a life of holiness before you and before others. God, I pray that you would just continue to be with us. And Lord, I pray that we would have a great rest of the day and rest of the week. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you again for joining us. We will see you next week as we kick off November with a new theme for the month. Same time, same channel. Keep rolling, Emmanuel.